Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Wars fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we are looking at something I didn't even know I had ordered, and I kid you not. Excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather at the moment, so I'm powering through. It's supposed to be a bit of a delay in videos because I've been quite under the weather, but I'm back with this beauty. Now, funny story, very quickly. I didn't know I'd ordered this. I've actually looked at this on a couple of other people's websites, online retailers, and thought this looks really good. But I don't think I'm going to get it. Plus, I think I've already ordered some of these figures separately. And so what I think I'd done is ordered on the Hasbro Pulse website, which is, to be fair, it was cheaper. And they just had a display of the figures. They didn't have the background, and they called it, I think they did call it the Cantina Adventure set, but I think it just alluded to the fact that these were figures as featured in the Cantina. And as some of you will be aware, I'm still awaiting the arrival of my HasLab Cantina, despite me getting an email on the 11th of, prior to the 11th of August saying it'll be dispatching shortly afterwards, and here we are now in September, still no sign of it. So when Yodel said, we're coming with a Hasbro package, I thought, oh my god, it's coming. And I opened it up and it was this, and I was thinking, I have no recollection of ordering this, but I think it's because I ordered the figures as a pack, didn't realize that the presentation mechanism for the figures was going to be this, because that wasn't the picture that I was clicking on the Hasbro Pulse, whereas everywhere else of course it is. But with so much going on, I didn't put two and two together and go, yeah, these figures are the same in both sets. This is beautiful. So that's just a little bit of my mental state at the moment. But this is beautiful. This is a recreation of I think a 1978, possibly 79, carded playset. Card-based playsets were very the thing when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s. It was easy, it was cheap to manufacture, etc. So, and again, they keyed into our imagination. Sometimes some of these cardboard playsets had really good features. You'd have a cardboard playset with maybe a plastic base and stuff like that. I didn't go in for them personally, because there wasn't that many that interested me. So I never had this in its original set. But this is a vintage collection version, and I stress that because I've got a reason for saying it in a moment. And it contains, however, the same actual figures that were available in the original 1970s set. And that includes, over here, our friend Blue Snaggletooth. Now, Blue Snaggletooth, or Zutton, was a super sought after Star Wars figure from the original collection, because he was when Kenner or Palitoy in the UK released these figures didn't come on card backs. They came in little plastic baggies, so you were sort of done out of the cardboard packaging for these. They were just like inserted figures that were loose, sort of semi-loose. So this is one of the reasons I think I'm right, and people who know more about this stuff will correct me in the comments below, and please feel free to do so. But I think this is one of the reasons that Blue Snaggletooth was one of the harder to find, because he was only available, as I understand it, through collecting this set. And people didn't always pick these sets up because they in the 70s they were probably quite expensive for their time, and understandably so. But here we have, let's take a look. Let's just take a look at this. This is gorgeous. Now, I've not taken any of it out of the box yet, but I just think it looks so gorgeous. You've got Greedo. Now, I seem to remember, and again, someone please correct me in the comments, Greedo I recall being called Green Greedo. In my head, he was called Green Greedo on the original 1970s card. But that could just be something in my own head, because he was called Greedo and he was green. So I might be making that up. So feel free to correct me down in the comments. But Greedo here. Walrus Man, because to me, he'll always be Walrus Man. Hammerhead, same reason. And of course, Blue Snaggletooth, or essentially Snaggletooth, because it's only his clothes that are blue. Fantastic. And they are in decos that are reminiscent of their, if you like, their retro look. Greedo certainly, Walrus Man was, and I think if you've just seen my recent unboxing of the last retro collection box set, he was the only actual reproduction of the original figure, and you can see how the colour scheme has been adapted to a vintage collection figure, but they've gone for as much of the aesthetic as possible, i.e. orange top with blue arms and legs and the green head. Stormtrooper and the figures around the back, they are part of the cardboard. They're not part of this. Hammerhead in his colours there, and of course Blue's Snaggletooth. But what's brilliant here, and I just pull your attention to this part of the box, is here they are carded, and they're carded using the original, card back photos, and presumably Snaggletooth as he would have appeared. And what's really lovely here is this Hammerhead has his head turned to his left, which is how he was packaged back in the day. And the reason I mention that is because the Vintage Collection have also released, and I've picked them up, and this is another reason why I was after this set, was because obviously I'm waiting for my HasLab to come. I also wanted to, I want to be able to populate it. So I'm going around picking up Vintage Collection figures and hitting a whole new crisis, because I get them and I look at them and I go, oh, they look really great on card. I mean, obviously they're called their official given names now, Ponda Baba and Momau Naden, or however you pronounce it. So apologies to purists who are going, what did he say? But interestingly here, Hammerhead, which is how I'm going to refer to him, his head is looking forward, even though his eyes are doing that little thing that they do. And what's brilliant is they also come with cups, because someone ingenious in the Hasbro marketing world is going, look, if you're going to reproduce these figures, which are clearly going to be a hot topic for people who want to populate the HasLab, make it additionally HasLab compatible, give them some glasses. Now, from what I understand, giving them glasses really isn't necessary, because there's so many damn glasses and cups and things coming in that set when it ever arrives, that I don't think we need them. But I appreciate they're tying it in. And I think what I'm going to do probably over on the Patreon page is I might do a bit more of a given comparison between this version, the Vintage Collection version that's been individual releases, and also where I have them, the Retro Collection iteration, so we can see the different takes on there in a bit more close-upness. But this, so I imagine my delight when I saw this. Now, a quick tour of the box. Along the top, we get a bit more product shot with the figures in different positions. There's the individual figures in action poses, and I do love. And I have to, and I'm sorry if people find it boring that I waffle on, but I really do love how they're trying to recapture the original feel of these in this more modern aesthetic. So we're getting the visual aesthetic, but with the engineering and tooling of the 21st century, and I think that's fantastic. So again, we get the figures with their accessories there, and a view of the Cantina playset, which is again just cardboard, really. The sides are the same, just that sort of picture, and the Star Wars and the Cantina Adventure set. And there's just something so evocative about having this logo, this font, and the word Kenner plastered in places, and of course the sort of the racetrack surrounding logo of this. It's if people said, I'm just going to buy this and keep it in its box, again, tricky, because why would you keep it in the box? Although I get it, because I kind of look at it and go, yeah, why would you take it out of the box? You want to keep it nice and pristine. And it's one of those things where I look at it and I go, you know what? Because I kind of want to open these figures for my Cantina, it's one of those annoying ones where I go, do you know what? This is where I need two, because I really love how these look. If they're going to look anything like these look, I really love seeing them on the card. I think they look amazing. And it's everything that I didn't keep as a child, because I just tore it open and played with it, straight away. So I have taken the liberty of cutting here. Oh yeah, in case anyone asks, you probably know already. The front and the back are the same. The only difference is there's a bit more international language, and we get the Vintage Collection, just so no one's in any doubt that this isn't the original. It is a vintage collection edition. I have cut into it here. I'm hoping I can open it without, because one thing I do find with these is that they tend to catch. Oh no, it's all right. And then you're sort of in this area of, oh my God, I'm going to tear the box, which of course would not make me happy camper. I'm just going to zoom out slightly because I don't know the extent. It's both not a huge box and a huge box at the same time. But you see, what I love with this is you can take the contents out and you can still display this box. As long as you don't damage the box is, you know, infinitely displayable. I'm going to pause for a second while I get stuff out, and then I'll be right back. That's about as right back as I could manage. So I've got the inner tray out, and it pretty much does fill up the dimensions of the exterior box. So it's not one of those boxes where you open it out and you think, what was the point of that? This has been spread out quite well. And this side has got the backs of Walrus Man and Snaggletooth. And can I just also say, please, and I think I'd mentioned this already, I love the fact it's Walrus Man and not his now given name. That again takes us right back to the appropriate time frame. So this is what it looks like in its entirety. So it's now, because it's all cardboard, luckily I can't see any tape. I'm just going to sort of pop it. I'm going to hope this will let me do this. Maybe if I tilt it a bit there. But I don't know quite what we're going to find as we unfasten stuff. But these just slide out from what I can see. Perfect. So again, Star Wars Walrus Man. Oh my Lord, it's just beautiful. I'm not so sure about those interchangeable hands. But yeah, the concept of the blue arms and the blue legs. Although I believe the retro version had sort of webbed feet, and here he's got boots. Must be a nightmare to wear those with your webbed feet under there. Although I don't think we ever saw his feet, so I think the whole webbed thing is an invention. An invention to make Walrus Man a bit more walrusy. Blaster, 2 additional hands, so you can swap them out. So again, I'm not sure what the story is about the sort of enclosed hands there, but hey ho. And again, this looks like it's some sort of art rendering, and I seem to recall that's what it looked like, because I don't think they had a very good shot of him that they could use, that they couldn't digitally enhance, I guess, back then. And that does sort of scream, this is what it looked like. But yeah, beautiful figure. Look at that head sculpt. And it's so evocative. This is like retro collection plus 5, which I suppose is what the vintage collection is what the vintage collection is all about. You know, it's that scale, but it's that scale living with the current aesthetic. So there's Greedo, not Green Greedo, but I'm really sure, but again, could be a false memory. That is definitely the car back that I remember from childhood. And again, Greedo, the OG Greedo was in my first, I'm sure in the first 5 or 6 figures that I ever got. Because once I'd got R2-D2 and C-3PO, my priority then was the alien characters, because I found them so fascinating and I really, really loved them. So I know Greedo was up there, along with Walrus Man and Hammerhead. Again, so and Red or Scarlet Snaggletooth. So that's another reason I'm really sort of being flashed back nostalgia-wise with this. Love the hands here, very, very creepy. He's got a belt there, and he's got his little blaster. That's not going to end well, I think. No glasses or cups this time. This is very pared back. This is very Greedo as he appeared in the 70s in his fully green outfit. With that, again, that wonderful sort of Rhodian head sculpt that is just so him. Let's pop him over there. So yeah, so now I've got a blank space, so I don't know quite the nature of how this will work. So here we have Snaggletooth. As I said, I'm going to do I think I'll do a separate, over on Patreon, I'll do a separate figures comparison thing, and possibly a deeper look at the cards. But there he is, good old, and I think this is just I think looking at this is more of just a repaint of the Zutun character, which I did get, again, for the purposes of building up a sort of a Tatooine Yeah, here we go. I've actually got it close by, so I can do that straight away for us. So there's, yeah, so that's a more shade kind of, and I think that was the issue. I think that a lot of the things of the time were quite dark, particularly Cantina based aliens, whereas now they can do all sorts of augmentation, so you don't have that problem. But yeah, that to me looks pretty much like a sort of a like for like, just a redeco slightly. Very good redeco, and technically could give me 2 characters. Or I could send one of them home to get changed, or I've got 2 characters to occupy my certain spaces within my cantina when it arrives. But again, beautiful detailing, I have to say. Those blobby eyes. This one, the head sculpt of this one actually reminds me far more of the original Snaggletooth than the Zootan one does. Probably because it is trying to be more the aesthetic. But of course, the blue with the silver boots. God, I remember the silver boots. I think I remember him being a bit... in my head, the blue one, which I never had, obviously, I think was slightly taller than the original, but that might be, again, a fake memory. I just remember him having these silver boots when I saw pictures, and I was like, wow, he's got silver boots. This is again, another one that I'm so keen to get out of this, get in hand here. And again, as I say, it's Hammerhead, so he's got these sort of mouths either side. But there is, yeah, he's got his little sort of sly side eye thing going on, and here he's looking to the left. I don't just mean his head is, his eyes are looking to the left. In the new vintage collection, he's looking to the right, so that's good. It's nice to have options. And again, the coloration and the feet. I remember the feet from the original. It's just so lovely and so strange to have these, because they just scream my childhood, and they're all unpunched as well, which is a blessing. And there he is on the back, where they're showing off that he's out of the packaging. Absolutely divine figures. So again, if nothing else, those figures are... That's why I bought the set, because I was not aware that I was buying the Cantina set. Now this is a bit strange, because I don't really know now how I'm opening this up. Okay, I'm just opening it up. Well, that was a challenge. Is it fixed in? I'm trying to see if it's fixed in. It doesn't look like it is. I think you just lift it. Oh, there you go. Just lift it out. Okay. So this is nothing. Well, it's recyclable, or I can use it to... So this then is the okay. Okay. Is it okay? So it's got... It looks like it's got some segments that are... is it separate? Oh no, so it can actually be one piece. These bits look like they've been pre-scored to bend, but I don't really want to bend them. Oh, it looks like it does. So that's separate. Oh, I wonder if we're supposed to bend it, because there's a score here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to get the light. And there's another one here, and it's cut there. So I'm assuming it's cut. Yes, it is. It's cut there. So it's so it's pre-cut and scored. I think. Although, yeah, and there's a slot. Okay, and there's a slot there. So what they want us to do is they actually want us to bend it forwards and put these tabs in there. What does that actually look like? Of course, once there we go. So that'll slide in like that, and then I'll just fold it over, I'm guessing. And then so it kind of looks like that, which then gives it... I'm not going to do all of it, because I can't decide whether or not I'm going to want to do all of it. Let me zoom in a little bit on here. Yeah, I'm going to be a bit outrageous now and say I kind of like it, because I was thinking I didn't really want it for this. But now that I've got it and I've done this, I can see how it would be a really good display plate thing. And as mentioned, I've got no interest in the sort of the Geonosis battle sort of theme that we're going for at the moment. I think at the time of recording, they're pushing that, and the new HasLab is the gunship, which doesn't seem to be doing quite well. And I think there might be an opportunity to have a HasLab-based discussion. I think everyone's having HasLab-based discussions at the moment, but maybe we'll have a HasLab-based discussion at some point, because I do wonder, a lot of things, the G.I. Joe stuff, have taken a lot of time to back, and we're days away now. We're days away now from the end of the current Star Wars Geonosis one, and I think they've only just breached halfway, so it's a bit of a worry. It's not a worry for me because I don't want it, but I can see why it would be a bit of a worry for other people, and because I'm there's still my rational brain that says don't collect Star Wars stuff because it's a rabbit hole you will never recover from. And as you can see, once I get my hands on Star Warsy stuff, I start to go, yeah, I'm zooming down this rabbit hole. Now, this is an exterior shot of the cantina. So it's not the cantina as we would be getting in the HasLab. But I think it's one of the entrances of the cantina is sort of through there. And this is arguably another Streets of Mos Eisley. And I will be honest, looking at this now, I'm kind of inclined, because I think there's the Streets of Mos Eisley, and there's also another cantina, isn't there? There's the Navarro cantina, and Jabba's Palace, but Jabba's Palace is pretty hard to get. These are all things that I've looked at, of course, in the past and dismissed immediately because I do not want them because it's Star Wars collecting and I can't go back down there because there's just too much. It's unrelenting collectibleness and it will kill me. But I am aware of what's out there, and I that's why I think I'm going a bit all in with the Tatooine one, because it's the very first film. It's the one that gripped me so much as a child and made such an impression on me. And yes, Empire Strikes Back is potentially at least as good as, if not slightly better. Return of the Jedi, it's okay. It's not my favourite, but it's okay. I don't have anything wrong. I don't hate it, but I'm kind of drawn to this Return to Tatooine theme far more than I am to the Geonosis thing. I don't know if they would in the future do an Endor thing. I mean, it's a logical place to go, isn't it? Endor, Hoth is a logical place to do set something around. I don't know how I feel about that, but Tatooine grabs me, and I think it's because there's such a clientele. There's such a clientele that we can actually engage with, that it feels almost wrong to not go back, to not dive back into it and go back to Tatooine. So I kind of like the notion of maybe picking up some of those other sets, like the Streets of Mos Eisley. I know that the Navarra Cantina isn't intended to be part of the Tatooine range, but it's another cantina in a desert environment. And again, structurally, it sort of looks like some of the modular elements of the Tatooine the Mos Eisley cantina. So I'm thinking, if I pick that up, I might be able to do some expansion stuff, because I have ordered, for those who don't know, I have ordered 2 of the HasLab cantinas. Don't know what I was thinking, to be honest, because I think that every time with the Transformers HasLabs, I should get 2, and then I never do. Then the one thing that I'm not collecting, Star Wars, I ordered 2 of them. Not the deluxe, just to be really clear, because I think the deluxe, if I got the deluxe, I'd be obliged to keep it. But the reason I got the HasLab was because I want the original, and I'm going to figure out a way to have it on display. I wanted the figures so that I could actually uncard them and then deploy them. I know they're not supposed to go on here in their things, but I also want to have a set of the figures on the cards because they just look beautiful. And the only way to do it was, of course, to get 2 sets. So I thought, well, I may as well get 2. If I'm going to invest the money in it, I'll get 2 sets, and I'll use one HasLab cantina, keep 1 set of the figures on card just because I like the look of them, and uncard the other ones and use them for display purposes and etc. And then I don't know, with the other, what I've got left over, which will be the entirety of another full HasLab, I could either use it to fill out, because technically there'll be more in that than there is in the deluxe. I know there's a couple of like wall ornaments. Well, gosh, I can live without that, but maybe I can expand it with that, or I can leave it the rest of it fully sealed up apart from the figures, And if other people want to world build with it, then maybe, I mean, let me know, because I'm up for passing it on. The only thing it wouldn't have, transparently, is the carded figures, because that's why I've bought two of them, is to get the carded figures. But if anyone would see a value in having the pieces from another entire HasLab Cantina, then I'm more than happy to entertain the idea of flogging it on. Because, again, it's a space issue for me, and I didn't get it for the Cantina. I got it for the figures, and I'm going to hold on to that, because otherwise I'm going to be like, no, I need to keep it, because I need to use the pieces to expand it. I can't expand it. If I'm going to expand it at all, I'll just get some of the smaller things that could form sort of backdrops or expansions to the overall exterior, such as the Streets of Mos Eisley and the Navarro Cantina. That's probably what I'll get. That's probably what I'll get if I even go down that route. So just as a heads up, there might be if people are interested in a HasLab Cantina sans figures, just let me know. But coming back to this one, which is an exterior shot, some of the back of the Cantina, of course, is exposed. So maybe what I could do is actually build it against this. So from a view perspective, this is what you see behind the Cantina. I don't know what that will look like. I'll have to wait and see. Alternatively, this becomes its own little display base. I can then use these figures for this as a separate thing, and I could put the new, because another thing I'm looking at, I haven't bought it, but another thing I'm looking at and giving thought to is the land speeder with the Luke Skywalker figure. I kind of like that, because again, it's all the stuff. It was the inrush of toys and the inrush of excitement with the first film, so I kind of like that. I'm drawn to that, so I'm thinking, yes, I might get that as well. I know it's about 50 quid. Ooh, will I benefit from waiting and see if it drops down a bit? Maybe. I'm going to a convention, not a Star Wars convention, but I'm going to MCM London I think it's October. I'm going there. I might have a look around, because sometimes it's the sort of thing that might just be sitting somewhere on a shelf, and it's like I think it's about 60. I think I'm lying to you. I think it's about currently £60 in the UK. Depending where you look, give or take. But it's the sort of thing that somebody might have some, and they're looking to just let them go, and they might be looking to pay. If I'm paying 40 or 50 for that, I'll take it. It's an on-the-spot purchase for me. So yeah, I think I'll be looking at MCM Comic Con. I'll be looking for maybe some Tatooine figures, Star Wars, and maybe the land speeder, and maybe the Streets of Mos Eisley, because I think that goes for around 60 at the moment. And I'll be perfectly honest, looking at it, it looks like the sort of thing you want two of, because I think on its own it's good, but it feels incomplete. I think and I think even the marketing around it and the instructions around it suggest really you need two of them to make it really impactful. So I'm kind of getting sucked into that idea. I don't think it's the same for the Cantina. I think it's Navarro Cantina. I think that's just like a very low grade is not fair, but a very sort of downscaled Cantina set. So I think it's basically a bar and a wall with the window in it. So again, I think that's something I could embed within and deploy with the Cantina. And I know it's Navarro and not Tatooine, but I'm not going to tell the figures. The figures aren't going to know. I'm not going to tell them. So, but I can make that work. And then maybe this goes as a backdrop. I'll see. But I do think it makes sense to have this separate to an extent, because then it does become somewhere I could put the land speeder. And because the again, and this is the other thing I was gonna say, because I don't really know. I'm not disapproving of this, but it's just a discussion point. I don't really know why this wasn't released as a retro collection set, because this would have been a great place to re-release these as retro collection figures. I mean, I know we've just got Walrus Man in the New Hope set 3 box set, but we didn't have to. They could have gone a whole down the line of, well, we'll give you a different figure, but we'll put these Cantina aliens as retro collection figures in here with this retro collection backdrop, because arguably this isn't really vintage collection aesthetic, is it? The vintage collection is, to my mind and my understanding, It's the, I keep wanting to call it G1, so I do apologise. It's the OG, if you like, Star Wars aesthetic, but with modern engineering. Well, this is the OG Star Wars aesthetic, period. There's nothing here that is, an updating of it that I can see. It just reads as this is the backdrop as it appeared in 1978, and we've reproduced it. So if that's what this is acting as, then why not give us the 3 3/4 figures on the retro collection? That would make sense. And then also it means we've got, because again, I haven't seen anything really vehicle wise or playset wise that is retro collection-y, which makes me wonder, and don't quote me on this because I've got no inside information, but it's just if it were me. But if it were me, I would, and we were going, HasLab. The HasLab I might be tempted to buy would be a retro collection HasLab. I know I'm being outrageous, but a retro collection HasLab, Death Star, but go back to that old cardboard sphere that I don't think was available in the USA. I think it was a European, because I didn't have it, but I had the G.I. Joe equivalent. It was Action Force in the day, but it was an Action Force, but it was the same tooling. It was just very, very different deco. But it was the Death Star, just painted and printed differently. So I think, from an international point of view, the cardboard Death Star, but HasLabbed. So all of the features up, the ante significantly upped. But also, it wouldn't need to be super exorbitantly expensive. I think it would be an affordable HasLab. Obviously, it wouldn't be what it cost in the day, but it would be proportionate. And again, you could chuck in some retro collection figures that are both a combination of reproduced retro figures and some of those new retro figures that were never made the first time around. And I'm sure they could come up with stuff that would work for that. For me, that would be what I'd like to see. No one is listening to this, so I get it. But that would be, for me, that would be an exceptionally sensible retro collection HasLab, would be the cardboard European release of the Death Star playset that used that cardboard at a G.I. Joe Action Force tooling. I think that would be amazing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google cardboard Death Star 1970s, and or something like that, and you'll find it. And it was again like this, but bigger scale. And you could fit vehicles in it and lots of places for figures. And there was a trash compactor. Again, I didn't have it, but it was a iconic thing that I looked at with awe and always wanted. And I think on more than one occasion, I pretended that the Action Force one that I had was in fact the Death Star, because it gives you 360 playability. And I think there's two main levels, but there's also a third level at the top where there was a weapon system, and there's one section that folded out, so it's like a runway or a landing pad. So much in there. Honest to goodness, it was the playability for that thing would be incredible. And with a bit of modernised rethinking and retooling, I actually think, and the more I'm saying it, the more this is what I'm now going to be praying to the gods of plastic for, would be a retro collection Death Star as a HasLab. What do you think about that? Tell me in the comments down below. I know I've gone so off topic in this video, but it's my video. I'll go mental if I want to. No one's forcing you to listen. Although I do appreciate it. And again, obviously, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I don't always meander and ramble like this. Although, you know what? I don't mind meandering and rambling, because I think it's so lovely to chat about things like this. And also, I could talk to my dogs about it, but they don't really answer back. Well, I mean, I know you're answering back to a screen, and relatively politely, thank you. But you can also write comments, so there's a degree of interaction. The dogs just look at me and go, well, that just looks like something I can chew, to be honest. I do love the detailing on this. I really think, the grill there in front of the door, we've got moisture extraction. I think that's what that is. We've got a sand trooper there. I love that we've got treads and we've got lots of footprints and different types of footprints. So there's obviously droids and, you know, so on and so forth. There's a lot going on here that's lovable, and I'm kind of here for it. Like Jawa over there, nasty Imperial spies, weird little droids. It's beautiful. It captures that aesthetic, and I think that's the only issue for me, is it's almost not tweaked enough to be fully vintage collection. It sits very squarely as retro collection, but it's been and I totally understand why they've released it, because it's a brilliant and logical opportunity to release these figures in this deco. But you could have released these figures in this deco and people would have bought them. You know, you didn't need this gimmick to sell these, but put these on retro collection cards. Well, they are pretty much, but make them retro collection figures in this set, flying off the virtual shelves. I say virtual shelves because I don't know if this ever makes it into a shop. Everything's bought online now, and sort of shop distribution is just bonkers. But that's a whole other argument, which we're not going to have, folks. Thank you for joining me for this bit of a weekend ramble. Oh, snaggletooth. I hope you can sense my palpable excitement for these figures. They really are beautiful. As I say, I will probably do a bit of a comparison thing on Patreon at some point. So by the time you're watching this, it might be there, or it might be going up in the near future. But I think this set is really, really terrific. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my thoughts around the retro collection, particularly the HasLab element. Wow. But if you also take my point about this playset and these figures, that said, not a complaint. I would happily buy a second one of these just to get these figures maintained on card. You know what I mean? I just think they're beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for being a companion whilst I've gone through these figures. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. As I say, you've been fantastic. I will put a link in the description to my Patreon should you want to keep an eye on discussions around the Star Wars figures. By all means, check that out. There is an awful lot and an increasing amount that is completely free to access. You do have to be a member, but it's a free membership to access some of that stuff. Also, there is a paid tier, but it's a very, very low level pay, and there's some exclusive videos and stuff that goes behind that paywall, but it's very, very small, and that amount is to pay for things like this. So where I'm saying I would love a second one of these, that is solely where any income from Patreon would go. It would be pay for a second one of these, it would pay for this, that, the other, because you know what, as the more I've fallen into this trap of collecting stuff, my goodness me, it's expensive. People actually need you to pay for stuff. It's really it's a real nuisance. And not only that, you're paying for this stuff, which to all intents and purposes is fine. You've also got to pay the other bills as well, which, you know, no one advertised that in adulthood. So I'm really, you know, not here for it. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope to see you in a future video, or of course a past video. As mentioned, if you haven't already, please do like the video. Do drop a subscription to the channel, completely free again. And it just remains for me to say that things of beauty, and I'm sorry, but there is no way you're not telling me these are not things of beauty, really are toys forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.